Bonjour. Hi. Ah, streamer. C'est un moment pas mal de fun pour moi parce que je viens de faire ma première soundtrack. Je suis vraiment content. Ça s'est bien passé. Puis je vais jouer aux trois jeux faits par l'artiste qui a fait le jeu que j'ai fait la soundtrack. On va faire tout ça. Tout ça. Mon micro fonctionne, je pense. Mon micro fonctionne. L'image est là. Le son jouait tantôt. Fait que tout est great. Pop, pop, pop. Je pense qu'on va juste pouvoir partir ça. Alors, au programme ce soir, on va jouer euh, à trois jeux faits sur l'engin Bitsy. Les trois sont faits par Danielle Taphanel. On va jouer à Growlight, on va jouer à Well Tended et ensuite on va finir par Delivery. J'ai peut-être un plan de ensuite continuer avec Yakuza ou pas. On verra. On verra c'est quoi la vibe après. Mais si je joue à Yakuza, ça sera pas beaucoup, pas longtemps. Bon, et ben on part ça. Je vais switch à stream image. Ah, ah, ok. Done. Faut juste que je fasse. Pouf! Et nous voilà. Ok. Je vais monter un peu le son des speakers. Comme ça, on va entendre la musique qui joue. Et commençons. Alors, commençons par ça. Je vais jouer et je vais lire les mots. Comme ça, on va pas passer trop vite. Euh, j'ai joué à Growlight, j'ai joué à Well Tended, j'ai joué à Delivery pendant qu'il était en développement, mais j'y ai pas rejoué depuis sa sortie. Puis à ce qui paraît, ça a changé un peu et tout. Fait que ça va être la première fois que je vais y jouer avec en entendant ma musique et tout. Fait que ça va être le fun. Comment ça? Ah, je vais aussi faire ça comme ça. S'il y a jamais du monde qui se pointe, je peux les voir popper dans les textes. Hello, Dom. How are you? Et we begin. I'll put that full screen. Run transformation. Boom. Hey, I'm less sleepy than today. I guess to stop working does great. I'll read the description here. A short game about a botanist banished to the moon for attempting to create sentient plant life. They move through the section of their circular lunar base, talking to plants, drinking tea, reading old personal logs, and meditating on rejection and isolation. Use WASD or arrow keys to move and interact. Content warning, allusions to eugenics, body modification, and body horror. Remember that you can only move forward, you can never go back. And it's my first game, please be kind. We'll always be kind, made with love in Bitsy. Soundtrack simple by Crufro. And here we go. Put that full screen. Grow light. It has been 9 years since you were exiled to the moon. Your experiments to create synthetic sentient plant life earned you the ire of the entire global scientific community. And now you are here and everything you've worked for has come to fruition. And And now we are the little bonhomme. Personal log entry 00001. The facility is adequate, and the mining construction drones will allow me to modestly expand and continue my experiments. They must continue. Personal log entry 0634. The seeds they send me have been modified outside my specifications. I will have to clone my own stock. They don't care. No one cares. And no one ever will. Not in the way that matters. Alignment conditions 90%. Bulkheads locked 7 out of 7. Hello, Doc. It's the big day, isn't it? Of course. Today we finally unseal the bulkhead of each section of the base. The alignment of the sun is finally just right. No clue what that means, Doc, but it sounds exciting. Boop, 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 boop. Doc, you haven't come to see me in ages. I'm sorry, Nee. You were always the most independent of us. Don't talk like that, you're making me nervous. Oh, Doctor, how lovely of you to visit. San, have you written any new poetry lately? Oh, hush, that was supposed to be our little secret. It's always so cold here, Doc. Would it always be so cold? I'm sorry, She. Just wait a little more. Today is the big day. Whatever you say, Doc, as long as it's less cold and less dark. Let's drink some tea. The automatic kettle assures you with its timing, preparing what you hope is the best cup of tea you'll have in your life. It takes you back to the first day Ichi spoke. You had just brewed tea with leaves from some of Ichi's failed cousins. Initially, the noises they made were simply the gentle hiss of oxygen passing through their complex multi-chambered bodies. In the beginning, there was only this formless howling, reverberating even in the base's muffled and suffocating interior. That unearthly noise was what told you your goals were possible, that the silence and isolation of space was impermanent. Let's continue. As you glance outside the window, it looks out to the central hub of the base, a dome with a single slit, like some terrible sleeping eye, green in the dark. It was the last thing you built, the center of all the station's accumulated energy. It breathes in a way you've never been able to reconcile. Personal log entry 1469. San has finally developed speech, like their peers. Their conversation so far is limited to basic expression and simple mimicry, like very intelligent parrots. Personal log entry 1503. The first live tissue graft has been successful. I can hear them much better now, the varied tones of their songs. I foolishly assumed that words were the only thing they said. Private log entry 2034. Tissue adaptation has vastly progressed to outright cell conversion, though it's made me physically weak and fragile. The UV shielding of the compound, the strict energy conservation necessary to power life support. Never enough light, never enough warmth. Section 04 was always designated for personal experiments only. It had automated sanitation drones, incubation chambers, hundreds of stored samples. Suddenly, the sharp scent of petrichor and cut grass hits you a flood of sensation that signals danger and caution. It's so intense that for a moment you can't move. You used to love this smell. Your last night on Earth, it rained and you thought it was a blessing. You could not know how deeply you would miss the rain, how you would miss the living world churning beneath you, teeming with waves of boundless energy. Plant biology interested you in ways human beings didn't. You stopped eating animals at first out of disgust and fear. By the time you were standing trial, you hadn't so much as touched or looked at another human being in years. Your aversion and indifference alienated them to the point that exile seemed like a kind of release. Can I go investigate this? No. Personal log entry 2113. Preparations are almost complete for the central chamber. There just needs to be a large enough catalyst to initiate spontaneous cellular transformation. Personal log entry 2126. There is an incoming solar storm combined with increasing solar activity. It might be enough. I don't know how long I can keep going like this. Personal log entry 2356. The first instance of tissue rejection resulted in organ failure. Luckily, I had already created phytosynthetic redundancies, or I might have died. I've stopped metabolizing food almost completely, except for certain supplements and sugar water. There is a sensation, I cannot describe it, but it feels like air and electricity are running through me constantly. Your least favorite chamber in the compound, the one for failed experiments, all dead ends. The place stinks of heated dust, burnt edges of keratin, rotting plant matter. During the trial, you were forbidden from leaving your apartment and separated from your lab. They destroyed all your research materials, including your prototype, a plant that demonstrated pain, fear, and even traumatic memory. News: guilty, Dr. Beep to face sentencing, possibly exile. You've checked your backup data dozens of times now just to reassure yourself that even if you fail here, exile will leave you alive long enough to try again. You've given up so much over the course of the years. Whatever your friends and families or families you might have had are gone. This was the path you chose. You wanted to create a life that will be a true steward to this beautiful planet. You wanted to let humanity know that if they could hear the world, she would be singing in the woven life-laden voices only you garden planets know. They will doom her, and you will watch from her satellite. Another placid, pockmarked companion, ineffectual to the last. Duck, are you sure you're okay? You're looking a little... I'm fine. Hello, Larry Gliss. Personal log entry 2472. It is a sensation of being alive. The others have assured me that this is how they feel all the time. They asked me why I was crying. I don't remember teaching them what that meant. It feels as if my entire shell is crackling and peeling away. What lies just underneath, I wonder. Every day we wake, are born, live, slumber, and die. Neat. Oh my, doctor, you really should remember to take care of yourself. Mesa. The rest of the bulkheads are automatically unlocked via room scan of verified DNA, but the last chamber requires a keycard you made, just in case. You think about your heart, the hollows of its chamber, the lack of meaning in flesh, and the artful play at human nature. You seem to fail at so spectacularly. At what point did plants seem safer than people? Less selfish? Less cruel? Was there any guarantee you wouldn't continue the cycle of suffering endlessly, without reward or release? You hold the keycard in your hands, knowing how difficult it was to come this far without quitting or giving up. It is a cold comfort. Alignment conditions 99%. Bulkheads locked 0 out of 7. Personal log entry 2499. The cycle of rejection and adaptation has taken its toll. While I breathe more air, perceive more moisture, light, perception beyond sound, my body is failing fast. Personal log entry 2554. Everything is complete. The day is tomorrow. I'll finally be ready to end the human in me. The computer boots up, its processors whirring in a way that gnaws at your anxiety. There is no turning back from this, but there is also nothing to do but go forward. As you step into the final chamber, the sequencer begins to activate, sealing everything inside. You can hear the dome slowly peeling open, like a sticky eyelid coming undone, and beyond it, the incoming heat and light. All your vitals are normal. You no longer have a heart that pumps blood. After all, as the first shafts of light penetrate the chamber, you hear the roar of the machinery come to life. It hurts. It's supposed to hurt. Transformation is painful. Alchemy is the transmutation of trauma. This is what you wanted, to be peeled smooth of all your human coarseness, to be shorn quick and extend limbs and leaves anew. You rest there in agony, a tickle in your body that might have once been hysterical laughter. There you are, the first Lunarian. Thank you for playing. Damn, I love this one. Alright, we'll play game number 2. Well tended. Bang. About a short storybook simulator about wandering through Death's Shade-filled garden, following the spiraling path of poisonous plants to the center. Use WASD arrow keys to move and interact. Content warnings, horror, discussions of poison, drug use, death, and murder. I recommend playing in the dark with headphones on. This is my second video game. Music loop by Joshu and Jaika, made with love in Bitsy. Remember to drink some water. Bonk. You wake up in Death's garden and it seems to be wrought from billions of compounded ashes built into little hedges, resembling a quaint but unnerving barrier that only you serves to invite the unwary. The sky is the color of noise, diffusing light that scatters over the garden like a bruise, rendering everything in vague and sickly shapes. That's me, my little bonhomme. I really like the art style of these. I spent all my days a roaming, soft is the grass, no bed for me, and though my life she may have ended, I've got my love to tend to me. The ghosts of gardeners linger near the trees and plant beds, carrying out half-remembered motions. The plants here are like the shades, pale moon reflecting life around the orbiting North Star that must be the center of the garden. And all along in the hollows of her blackened wings, how it catches the heart, the truest song that death sings. And though my body sundered, my heart remains aflame, for I see only the rider, and only she can call my name. In the depths of the hedge maze, you find an empty hourglass, devoid of any sand or any visible openings. As you pass on your way through Death's Garden, you see oleanders scattered across the wall, unassuming white blossoms against bladed leaves the color of rough concrete, 1,000 bloodless little blooms in such a sparse and unyielding space. The Oracle of Delphi used to inhale the toxic fumes of burning oleanders, or chewed the leaves to induce visions. The root was crushed and mixed into wine, a plummy almond finish that ran red in the corners of countless mouths. We have always imbibed poison and called it divine, for what is revelation but the minor death? At the center of this cluster of hedges lies a pool whose water wax and wane like a penetrating eye. As you peer into the center, you come to realize everything smells uniformly of the metallic tang of petrichor, mixed with the tepid humidity of a water-laden summer. I see you, my darling. I really like this music loop. Sweet winter, you've come now for many a year, and here in my cold heart, I welcome you near. You gave me eternity to hold my darling, for I know her touch is merely a warning. As you pass through Death's Garden, you come across Promised Deadly Nightshade, ever the role embracing romantic purple stars shot through with a leering yellow stamen. They pulse at the sight of you. Named for their unchanging fate, Atropos, the sister who cuts the thread of mortal lives, Livia Drusilla, Empress of Rome, was rumored to have poisoned her husband with its berries, even as she used its tincture to dilate her eyes, all the better to see him with. That's good. Oh, love of mine own, the only love I'll know, after mothers and brothers and comrades, all gone, I'm all of hers, always all of hers. As you pass through Death's Garden, there is a patch of hemlock growing in lacy sprays streaked with red. The shades here avoid gazing at the plant for too long. This was the death Socrates chose to be smothered within his own body, as his mind remained horrifyingly aware. May many deaths end with a single shuddering breath that hemlock denies. It is a plant of malfeasance, the eldest of civilized murderers. The path of dust and the swallow's bones, we lay me down among the stones, and still I lay at the crossroads bare, and no more flowers may grace my hair. For cold is the garden she tends, we know not of mortal fear, no guard 'gainst her breast, we are all of hers, you are all of hers. You find a scythe made of brittle obsidian. If you could still bleed, it would have turned your hands to shred. Instead, you bleed a sickly mist and must turn your face away. As you pass through Death's garden, you pass by a patch of monkshood, their flowers twisted and sullenly bent inward, as if shuffling in procession through some church courtyard. They grow behind the graves of wasted men, trapped in the cocoons of their own passions until smothered by them. And oh, how tender death can be, how she raises us well, how she tends us, blip, blip, they are a better singer than me, how she tends to us well. Yep. As you pass through Death's garden, you find rosary peas, also called prayer beads or wild licorice. They gleam like jeweled little ladybugs, elegant little seeds with enough poison in one to fell a grown body. Like many poisons, they can be used to make medicine or to ward off evil, but the tiny gems have been the favorite of assassins, those beloved children of dust. As you pass through Death's garden, you see Death. How blithely she tends her roses, darker than old blood, and just the same dull scent of rust. She looks at you and knows you've been to the heart of her here, where she mutters 100 poisons. She looks at you and she laughs out loud, and the noise is unlike anything you've ever felt. You can see it in the chasm of her eyes as she reaches out to greet you like an old friend. You realize it is the sound of her song filling your heart. And here we go. That was game number 2. Bang. Let's drink some more water. And then we'll play Delivery, the last one. Delivery is the one that I collabed with, that I did the music. About a small game about a drone working for a delivery company in the wasted infrastructure of a post-collapse world. It includes direct prequel reference to my first game, Grow Light, but it isn't necessary to play through. Use WASD or arrow keys to move and interact. Exits are one way. Batteries are important. Music by Laurent Deshotes again, that's me. Made with love in Bitsy. Run Delivery. Click. Feedback log day 7248. Every morning at 400 hours, I am booted up by my employer blank. My dreams are binary data, a series of loops, generative dead ends. I sift through my memories, years of life waxing and waning in a star-laden spiral. Beep. Your day's delivery all bundle up. Only 3 deliveries today, Doctor. No, Dr. Bleep, Writer Bleep, and Lee. A fully charged power source is always important. True. The company sends my itinerary for the day via short-range wireless network. My route used to encompass an entire city section, and now is limited to a handful of buildings, barely housing what's left of the people inside them. From Botanical Aid Society to Dr. Co-ISFF. As you enter the building via the delivery chute, you notice the soft sound of music from the inside. The information screen tells you that the occupant hasn't re-registered their identification in several months. The information screen flickers erratically, displaying the same repeating ID call over and over again. The light here seems different from the rest of the bulbs. Scans indicate a 40-watt bulb outputting ppf at 72 micromoles per second. The leaves of the plant beneath practically glows. As you approach the display, you immediately recognize the doctor's ID and status, though strangely large portions of the status data seem blocked and above your delivery clearance. Despite the dilapidated state of the building, the sanitation unit is one of the best, fully scanning and stripping any object of any hazardous material before it can cross the threshold. News: guilty! Dr. Blank to face sentencing, possibly exile. The electric kettle seems to be boiling water for making tea. The radio softly plays music. Oh, I didn't realize the delivery hatch was open. Hello. I have a delivery for you, Doc. It seems to be seed packets? Yes. My Camellia sinensis modified for germination in space. I was afraid it wouldn't arrive in time. Thank you. By the way, do you happen to know the weather forecast for tonight? It's going to rain all evening, I'm afraid. For a moment, the doctor smiles a very small and secret smile, though their face is tinged with exhaustion and melancholy. That's wonderful to hear. Thank you. It hardly rains anymore. I used to keep a garden on the rooftop, but they took it all away from me. They took everything away, even my plants. I wish I had more time. As you leave, you can't help but turn your sensors inward toward the apartment one last time. It is a neat, comforting little room, and you find yourself hoping that wherever the doctor is going, it is a kinder world than this one. Buddy, from editor Mu to writer Blank. Reply needed. The building looks better maintained than its neighbors. Formerly a set of luxury apartments with its own self-sustaining set of shops at the bottom. Some of the windows are tinted, but it looks completely abandoned inside. This entire floor looks like a jungle inside. I wonder what happened. Someone broke quarantine? I sense minor heat signature. Rats? Probably already infected. I can't believe someone still lives here. This is it. Here's the right floor. This is why specific delivery instructions are bothersome. Here we are. There is a tablet here displaying the news. Botanist under house arrest for controversial experiments. Famous engineer declared deceased, being missing for over a year. The last of the corporate mergers, and a bad review for a volume of short stories. Ah, finally you've arrived. I knew you'd come. You used to be a delivery drone in the Celestial District, huh? Yes, writer blank. I remember you. You told me it was important to record my thoughts and memories, so I've spent the vast majority of my upgrades on power supply and memory. Excellent. I knew you would follow directives. Ignore that junk mail, just another rejection letter from my editor. The real delivery is you. You're not leaving here, you know. Why do you say that? The writer grimaces. Their face looks much older than you determined them to be. I haven't left this apartment in years. You're the last thing that even knows who I am, besides my editor, and between you and me, I think he's a machine too. You have to stay here with me. You've recorded everything, right? I have to keep you safe. The computer screen displays the writer's open world processing program, the making of an unfinished novel. It seems he was attempting to capture the moment of humanity's downfall, the tipping point at which the world fell from Atlas's grip. It speaks to you precisely because you were there. You really have recorded it all. And that's what you are. This final witness and fodder for a novel no one is left to read. I have to return to my charging station. I can't be stuck here. The stress seems to be further draining your battery. This isn't fair. Someone help me. You aren't aware of how much time passes. Only the slow slip of yourself into nothing, and then the fog of what you can only describe as true unconsciousness. It takes a long time for your backup power supply to kick in. Your internal clock resets, and there is no nearby signal to sync up to. Yet you can feel yourself slowly waking up. The same process as when you're booted up each morning. But no one is ever waiting for you when you wake. The door remains hermetically sealed, presumably to protect the library of books. You detect nothing on the other side of the door. Password locked. As you browse through the writer's bookshelf, one title catches your eye, The Last Droid of You input the passphrase The Last Droid of onto the touch screen. The magnetic seal of the window unlocks with a small beep. As you make your way to exit through the room's safety locked window, you can't help but feel a twinge of guilt at leaving the whatever is left of the writer behind. But he stole one of those precious commodities you possess, time, and now you have no occupation and no certain place to return to. The only thing you have left is your remaining package. From Peep Delivery Corp to Lee. Incoming local message. Sender Lee. Hello, is this company drone B4? After all these years? You're supposed to be delivering a package to me. I'm in the greenhouse on the top floor. Company drone B4, I'm afraid I ordered this delivery from you under false pretenses. Not again. Again? You misunderstand. I designed your AI and trained it based on data from myself and my former wife. I can explain everything once you arrive. What am I supposed to think? I can't believe I trusted humans so naively. What if this is just another trap? You're finally here. I'm so sorry if I startled you. I simply wanted a chance to explain. When my wife and I were designing AI delivery drones to replace mail carriers after the plague, we based the commercial model specifically on you. Does that mean? It means you're unique. The AI we crafted for you was based on the accumulated data of my wife and I's entire lives up until that point. We couldn't have children, but we wanted something to keep living. That's you before. As far as we're concerned, you're alive. When everything started shutting down, we lost track of you. And then my wife passed. I'm so sorry. It took a long while to find you again, but you're still my family before, even if you can't remember us. I can't keep you here, but if you want to stay, let me show you something. Click. Ah, the lights. It's okay, I just turned off the lights. I live in this greenhouse, but there's also an observation deck outside. My wife loved to look at the moon at night, and sometimes she'd talk to it, as if she were talking to you. I just thought you'd like to see it. Outside? Up the ladder there. You don't have to answer me now before. Take your time, but go on up, and I'll meet you up there. As you make your way through the roof of the greenhouse, you're greeted with the expanse of a dark and quiet city. The streetlights are half submerged with water, barely flickering like fireflies, long extinct. The world is not the most wonderful place, but perhaps the fact that you are alive, still in it, makes it a little more wonderful. You ponder this as Lee sits next to you, quietly fingering the band on her hand as she gazes up at the moon. You gaze up too and realize that seeing this moon, detecting the oncoming rain, scanning the steady heartbeat of the person next to you, these are all wonderful things, worthy of looking forward to. Thank you for playing. Bang. And that's it. That was a fun stream. I like these games. I'm so happy to have collabed on it, to provide some quiet music on it. I'll put back my stupid Kiryu image here. I don't think I'm gonna play Yakuza 3 after this, but since it's a pretty good moment right here. Yeah, thanks for coming. This is gonna probably uploaded on YouTube. The song that I did for the game that is playing right now, one day I'll put it on an album. Probably I'm hoping to do to compile music I do to for other people, and compile them in a single album that maybe I'll release like something like that once per year or something. I'll see. No concrete plans. Maybe I'll put it on Patreon if I have the energy to maintain a Patreon. It's it sure is a platform, and yeah. Thanks for the 3 people who are watching this. It's a good evening, and on this I will say 2 words: bye bye, or even more. Bye 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 bye.